In this episode, I unbox a deck the likes of which I've never reviewed on this channel. Plus, I give you a chance to win one for yourself, and we announce the winner of the ephemera decks. All that coming up next. Whether you enjoy using standard cards or love the intricacy of custom decks, you've come to expect certain things as a given. In fact, no matter how intricate, playing cards are just 3.5 inches by 2.25 inches of white or near white paper printed with various permutations of the same 4 suits. Now, the deck may have some embellishments or frames and the pips might be extremely detailed, but generally speaking, it is what you get, right? Except that a while ago, about 200 years in fact, a special kind of playing card deck rose in popularity. These decks forego the traditional spot card trope of simply printing suit pips on plain backgrounds, and instead the designers wove the pips into some beautiful and uniquely clever artwork that disguises, alters, or transforms the cards into something much more. The deck I'm reviewing today is one such transformation deck, and it's unlike anything I've ever shown you in more ways than one. This is the Royal Mischief Transformation playing cards. Be sure to stick all the way through to the end of this video for a chance to win a deck of these from me, TheGentlemanWake. And remember, for the best in playing cards content, like, subscribe, and ring that notification bell. This is artist Patrick Valenza's Royal Mischief Transformation deck, not to be confused with any of the earlier non-transformation varieties of this deck. The first thing that sets the Royal Mischief Transformation deck apart is the unique tuck case design, or rather, there's no tuck at all. In fact, it's just a box in the traditional sense, opening into halves. There are finger indentations built into the sides of the top to aid in opening. The top of the lid features the deck name, designer, and the manufacturer, US Game Systems Inc. The image, a representation of the Queen of Clubs, is the first taste of what promises to be an expertly illustrated, quirky, and albeit dark art style. The left side of the lid reiterates the name and announces the deck as having 54 fiendish cards, plus 2 impish jokers. The left side includes a barcode and a short description of what a transformation deck is. The top end includes some ad copy and the bottom edge has another barcode. The back side of the bottom features another card, the 8 of diamonds represented. The artwork melds the diamond pips into the form of 8 jack-in-the-box style cubes with strange creepy figures popping out of them. Look, I admit the box is nothing to write home about. In fact, let me just say up front that there are a few things that I don't like about this deck, box included. However, the gorgeous and creative artwork, which I'm about to show you in more detail, makes the Royal Mischief Transformation deck a worthy addition to any collection. It's because the artwork is so great that so many of the smaller problems I have with the deck can be so frustrating. Pulling the lid off reveals the cards themselves. The card backs are fairly traditionally styled, scrollwork and design elements which hint at floral motifs and form a large eye in the middle. The back is predominantly crimson red, and the poker border and line work is a beige tone that gives the deck a nice weathered vintage feel. The deck is also gilded in dark gray silver. There's another aspect that we'll get into in a moment, but it's immediately noticeable. The cards are printed on a very glossy stock. The stock no doubt helps bring out the amazing artwork on the faces, but obviously it has some drawbacks. We'll talk about those a little later. But first, before I show you said faces, I should mention that the deck does include some more mature themes, and the illustrations are not shy about depicting some stylized nudity and violence. It's mild, but certainly not intended for kids, so usher the little ones away if they're around. The deck includes 2 jokers, a bashful court jester wearing fish-themed socks, and a second, more mischievous fool. This one is flipping the bird while fire-hot flatulence escapes from his bare rear end. See what I mean? Normally, I like to reserve the court cards for the end of a review, as they usually contain the most to talk about. However, the spot cards here take the star of the show mantle, despite the fact that the court cards are absolutely beautiful. These pharaoh-styled courts feature one-way color artwork, depicting the royalty as disturbed and often a bit violent. The Jack of Hearts, surrounded by severed heads, holds a bloody axe. The Queen is either pulling the heart out of a dead bird or disturbingly obliviously feeding a dead bird through a gashed neck. The Suicide King graduates from not only killing himself but being killed as well. In fact, the arm protruding out from his belly is remarkably similar to the Jack of Clubs arm. Here he's seen licking the blood from his blade. The Jack of Diamonds, traditionally the one-eyed Jack, has literally torn his eye out. Perhaps the coolest of the courts, however, are the Spades, a ghastly trio of skull-faced ghouls with dragon wings and serpents. For some reason, the courts are surrounded in a poker-style border that is a shade or two lighter than the rest of the cards in the deck. As promised, the spot cards are the true draw here. Each card has been painstakingly designed to transform the standard pips, incorporating them within their typical layout into larger compositions. All of these spot cards include a small handwritten description of the scene each card represents. For instance, the 10 of Hearts here becomes a group of warriors poised for battle. The pips on the 2 of Clubs become the hair ties on 2 kissing girlfriends. The 6 of Hearts depicts a man with each arm around an elegant escort. Some other favorites of mine include the 2 of Hearts lover spat, the Lilliputian tiny town depicted on the 7 of Diamonds, the meanies in spade bikinis on the 3 of Spades, the jailbirds on the 10 of Diamonds, the sharkbait 3 of Diamonds, and perhaps my favorite of all, the 8 of Spades, which cleverly blends the pips into the noses and collars of 5 menacing pooches. The larger pips give Valenza a chance to design some great aces, including my favorite, Big Mouth. Honestly, I could probably extend this video to well over 20 minutes just going over each and every feature. But honestly, the best part of this deck is discovering the details for yourself. Valenza has really outdone himself with a lot of smart, creative choices. The practical choices, however, well, I think some people might consider them questionable. This is clearly not a deck designed for gameplay. The stock is very rigid and, as I mentioned, glossy and lacking any kind of embossed texture. Springs are very difficult to pull off and fans are nearly impossible to produce. I didn't even try Pharaoh shuffling them for fear of damaging the cards. Ultimately, this is a deck to be admired for its intricacy and cleverness. In that way, I'm actually not too bothered by the glossy stock, as it does make the artwork pop. However, I can only imagine what this deck would look like printed on Bicycle or Cartamundi stock. In the end, my wish for this deck to be printed on a more manageable stock and my desire for a tuck case that more accurately represents the good and gorgeous work on the cards aside, the Royal Mischief deck is a favorite of mine for the artwork alone. The decks can be bought via Amazon and are still available on Valenza's website, deviantmooninc.com. In fact, on that site, you can find a more player-friendly, non-transformation version of the deck with blue card backs, as well as some really interesting tarot decks that bear Valenza's unmistakable artistic flair. Congrats to Raymond Natividad, winner of the Ephemerid deck giveaway. Speaking of giveaways, I'm giving away a copy of the Royal Mischief Transformation deck to one lucky winner. Here's what you have to do to enter. 1, like this video. 2, be a subscriber to this channel. And 3, tell me in a comment below which card I showed you from this deck was your favorite of all and why. To see another gorgeous deck with Pharaoh style court cards, click on the video that's going to appear right here. Thank you guys so much for watching. I've been the Gentleman Wake. See you next time.